AJ Widener here, Reality Check. Thanks for watching. I've been doing the reading from my book from about 22 years ago, A Monument to the End of Time, Alchemy, Vulcanelli, and the Great Cross, written with my writing partner, the late, great Vincent Bridges, whom I've dedicated this reading to. Today, we're going to Chapter 2, Section 2. And this one is called Egypt, Isis, and Horus. And here we go. The word alchemy as a name, close it here. The word alchemy as a name for the substance of the mystery is both revealing and concealing of the true initiatory nature of the work. Alchem, Arabic for the black, refers to the darkness of the unconscious, the most prima of all materia, and to the black lands of Egypt. Thus, the name reveals the starting point of the process and the place where this science attained its fullest expression. However, this revelation, important as it is, effectively conceals the nature of the transmutation at the heart of the great work. Let's begin with Egypt. For 3,000 years or more, Egypt was the heart of the world. Much of the knowledge that is the underpinning of our own modern culture had its origins in Egypt. Our modern, essentially European view of the ancient world is distorted by the funhouse lenses of Greek and Judeo-Christian history. The Bible gives us in Egypt of powerful pharaohs and pagan magicians, mighty armies, slaves, and invasions of chariots out of the south. Herodotus gives us a travelogue, complete with inventive stories from his guides. To the Hebrews of the Old Testament, Egypt was the evil of the world from which God had saved them once before. To the barbarian Greeks, it was an ancient culture to be pillaged for ideas and information. The superimposition of these concepts produced a skewed image of Egyptian civilization. To understand the origin of the vast subject alchemy, we must let go of the funhouse lenses and look clearly at what remains of the ancient Egyptian, culture can tell us. When we do this, two things immediately jump out at us. One, ancient Egyptians were the most scientifically advanced culture on the planet until the present day, if we have indeed caught up with them. And two, their science, in fact, their entire culture, seems to be revealed rather than developed. The Egyptians claim that their knowledge was derived from the actions of the divine forces in what they call the first time, or the Zep Tepi. This body of knowledge was passed down through the ages by a group known as the Heru Shemshu, or the Company of Horus. Each pharaoh, down to Roman times, was an initiate of the Company of Horus, and so privy to this secret knowledge. We can think of this secret knowledge as the core of alchemy in its broadest sense. However, as we look closer at what the Egyptians tell us, turn the page. About their science, we find that it is based on an intimate and understanding of the stars. We also find that it is coded somehow into many of the ancient monuments that have existed in Egypt for centuries. These monuments, such as the Sphinx and its temple, point to an even more ancient civilization from which the Egyptians recovered their knowledge. In that sense, the knowledge of the Egyptians, of which alchemy is half-remembered fragment, is the lost science of the last evolutionary epoch. For if this is true, what happened to end this epoch? The legends say a great catastrophe destroyed this advanced culture. One of the earliest of all alchemical texts is the fragmentary Isis, the prophetess to her son Horus, found in the Codex Marcianus, a medieval collection of Greek fragments. This work seems to be a unique blend of Hebrew mysticism and Egyptian mythology that could only have come from Alexandria early in the 1st century of the Christian era. The Egyptian goddess Isis tells her son Horus that while he was away fighting and defeating the evil one Set, she was in Hermopolis studying angelic magic and alchemy. She relates that after a certain passing of the Cairo and the necessary movement of the heavenly sphere, it happened that one of the angels who dwelt in the first firmament saw me from above. That's a quote. The angel is inflamed by sexual passion for Isis. but he can't answer her questions about alchemy. He bargains on another encounter by offering to bring a higher angel who will tell her everything she wants to know. The first angel shows Isis the magical sign of the higher angel. This sign consists of a bowl of shining water and a moon sign that resembles the emblem of the moon god Khonsu of Thebes. At noon the next day, the angel returns with the higher angel, here called Amnael. The higher angel also finds Isis desirable and is willing to trade information. He reveals that the mystery of his sign and then swears her to a great oath. In this oath, we find echoes of the great mystery and one of the keys to its explication. Quote, I conjure you in the name of fire, of water, of air, and of the earth. I conjure you in the name of the height of heaven and the depth of the earth's underworld. I conjure you in the name of Hermes and Anubis, the howling of Kurokos and the guardian dragon. I conjure you in the name of the boat and its ferryman, Akarantos, and I conjure you in the name of the three necessities, the whip and the sword. After this strange oath, Isis is told to never reveal the secret to anyone but her son, Horus, her closest friend. The knowledge will make them one. And as the knowledge has now made Isis and the angel one. And then a curious thing occurs. When the mystery is revealed, it seems strangely flat, as if something was left unsaid in the answer. Horus is told to watch the peasant, who may or may not have been the mythical boatman Akarantos. He then is given a lecture on as you sow, so shall you reap. Horus is told to realize that this is the whole creation and that the whole process of coming into being, and know that a man is only able to produce a man, and a lion, and a dog, and if something happens contrary to nature, then it is a miracle and cannot continue to exist, because nature enjoys nature and only nature overcomes nature. Isis goes on to relate that she will now give Horus the secret of preparing certain sands. She says that one must stay with existing nature and the matter one has in hand in order to prepare things. Just as I said before, wheat creates wheat, a man begets a man, and thus gold will harvest gold. Like produces like. Now I have manifested the mystery in you. The instructions then passes to hands-on lab work in melting and preparing metals such as quicksilver, copper, lead, and of course gold. At the end of this lengthy preparation, Isis exclaims, now realize the mystery, my son, the drug, the elixir of the widow. What are we to make of this strange story with its curiously flat revelations? Possibly our earliest alchemical text presents us with the same problem and ambiguities that we find throughout the entire alchemical corpus. There seems to be something in the very subject itself that forces its images towards surrealism of pathological metaphor. It is merely diseased imagination, or are there meanings beneath the fantasy? With all this in mind, we can see that the name alchemy points to the lost science of the ancients as revived by the Egyptians, and to the darkness of the unconscious, where powerful psychosexual forces can be encountered and used in the process of transformation. Egyptian science, with its concern for stellar movements as the background for mythical dramas, points us to another step down the road, as does the realization that there is a core of reality to the process far beyond the purely internal. As we unravel alchemy's secret, we will return to the story of Isis and the angel, the origin of alchemy. But first, we need to follow the trail of those who held this information, the Haru Shemshu, the followers of the widow's son. So the widow, of course, is Isis. She, that's the end of that chapter. The widow is, of course, Isis, and she was married to Osiris, of course, and Osiris was tricked into by his brother, his evil brother Set, to into getting killed by Set. It's told actually in The Lion King, that movie by Disney, is very clearly the story of Osiris and Set. And Horus is the son of Isis and Osiris. And so she's the widow. And of course, we know the story. She cut Osiris into 14 parts, and then Isis went and gathered all the parts together of Osiris's dead body, but she was missing the phallus. So she created a phallus in her lab, and then that was how she impregnated herself to get Horus. So Horus is the widow's son. The Horus Shemshu are the followers of the widow's son, the followers of Horus. And so Horus is, of course, where the word horoscope comes from, where the word hour comes from. So it's really concerned with time. And time, as we're going to figure out as we go forward here, time is like the missing element in our alchemical understanding. And so the Egyptians, who were really concerned with stellar movements and the movements of the stars, knew that you had to do your alchemy at the right moment, that if you didn't do it at the right moment, it wouldn't work. And this goes a long way to maybe understanding things like cold fusion, why sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work. Possibly these cold fusion physicists may want to start looking at the times when it worked and look at the stars, and maybe that'll tell you that you need to do it at a certain time. So as we go on here, we find that that's actually the secret of this book, is that the lost element in understanding alchemy is the time itself. So till next time, I'm Jay Widener, and you've been watching Reality Check, reading from A Monument to the End of Time, where I just did chapter 2, section 2. Next week, we'll do chapter 2, section 3. It'll be a lot lengthier chapter than this one. I hope you come back to hear it. And thanks for watching and listening. And I'm Jay Widener, Reality Check, hit like, share, and all that. And thanks for watching.